Hello, I'm Graham Lewis, and in this video we're going to look at the normal distribution. This is going to be looking at the history of it and real-world life examples, and we'll also do a real example where we use the normal tables, the z-score tables, to work out probabilities. So recall from the last video that you learned that a z-score is the measure of how many standard deviations something is away from the mean, and you calculate that by taking x minus mu over sigma. Now I want you to do a little activity first, so I'd like you to pause the video in a moment and in Google research what real life examples are normally distributed. Spend 3 to 5 minutes researching that and then write down your 3 examples and then play on the video and I'll share some information with you. Okay, so pause the video now. So hopefully you found some really good examples and you had 3 of your favourites, and I'll share 3 of my examples in a moment. And the purpose of that is for you to realise how important the normal distribution is. It occurs so much. It's probably the most famous and most used probability distribution in the whole world. So this chap from Germany, Carl Friedrich Gauss, from 1777 to 1855, was a mathematician, physicist and astronomer from Germany, and he discovered the normal distribution. Now, Gauss was looking at astronomy and using mathematics and physics, and he found that his errors in measuring distances to the stars were in fact normally distributed, and that's how he discovered the normal distribution. So that's absolutely, I find, incredible, and I'm really interested in space. If you're interested in space as well, there's a great article here that you can research from cosmosmagazine.com, so a short history of space and time, which is really good. It was written in 2018, so I encourage you at another time to research that information there. So in fact, when Gauss discovered the normal distribution, it wasn't actually called the normal distribution because Gauss discovered it and it was about errors to the stars, and so it was known as the Gaussian error distribution. Later, when the whole world realised how important it was, and it's used for so many things such as height and weight and all sorts that you have discovered, it was referred to as the normal distribution. Here's a cool picture of space, just because it was in the article and I thought it was cool and I wanted to share with you. Now my favourite 3 normal distributions. So 3 examples I liked, they're not my favourite, but I liked them, are errors in measuring distance to the stars. Actually, that is my favourite because that's where the normal distribution comes from. Lengths of leaves on a tree, it's incredible how in nature that the normal distribution comes about. And then in everyday things we do, so like our travel time to school, whether we go on the bus or bike or car, etc. So those are 3 real-world applications of it. And also another one is IQ. Now, IQ has a normal distribution, follows a normal distribution curve. Remember, IQ is a measure of intelligence quotient, where the mean response of the whole population is believed to be 100, and the standard deviation is 15. Some textbooks refer that like this: IQ follows a normal distribution with mean of 100 and standard deviation of 15, and some state it as IQ follows a normal distribution with a mean of 15 and a variance. Sigma squared is the variance, and they often write 15 squared there. So there's a difference in one text versus another. Some put the standard deviation there, and some put the square of that, the variance. You have to realise, though, that these things are not perfectly normally distributed. If you were to actually do a sample, there would be errors, and they'd be approximately normally distributed. Now, the problem is, we know that under a normal distribution curve, if I draw one quickly, the problem is we want to find the probabilities, which are the areas under the normal distribution curve. But every normal distribution curve is different. So errors in measuring distance to the stars will not have a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. Lengths of leaves on a tree will be different. Travel time to school will be different. So the problem is, how do we work out these areas when we've got so many different normal distributions? So here's a nice picture of the IQ scores following a normal distribution curve. And in the previous video, you learnt the 68 and 95-98% rule, and being 1 standard deviation away. So because standard deviation is 15 here, we've got 1 standard deviation away is, within 1 standard deviation is 68%, within 2 standard deviations, which would be 30 at either side, is 95%, and then we've got 98%. So there's the rule that you learnt last time. But the problem is that's those probabilities are true for these specific numbers because of the standard deviation being 15. And that's where the standardized normal distribution. So with the beauty of z-scores, we can actually relate every single normal distribution in the whole world, and there's an infinite number of them probably, to the standard normal distribution, and this is it here. So the standard normal distribution has a mean of 0, so the standard normal distribution, which we call z, follows a normal distribution with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. So the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. And that's what your z-score tables are representing, this standardized normal distribution. So all we need to do is relate our normal distribution to the standardized one, and then we can work out probabilities in our example, whether it's length of leaves on a tree or IQ. So here we have the z-score tables, and remember what we're really doing is we're taking our real-world example and we're changing it into the standardized normal distribution, which has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1, and then we can work out the areas using this table. Remember, this table works by always working out the areas to the left of a point, and we'll explore that in the examples coming up now. Example 1. So we've got a cookie factory, and we're saying the masses of these cookies follows a normal distribution with a mean of 40 and a standard deviation of 2. So we could say that the masses of these cookies, I'll call it M, follows a normal distribution with a mean of 40 and a standard deviation of 2. And what we can do is work out the z-score. So to work out the z-score, always write down the formula. So I'm always going to write it as x minus mu over sigma. And if I've got a 43 gram cookie, my x value is 43, the mean is 40, and the standard deviation is 2. And now I can work that out because it is in fact 3 divided by 2, so 1.5. So a cookie with a mass of 43 grams is 1.5 standard deviations above the mean. And we can draw a picture to represent that. So on your picture, always mark the mean, 40. My 43 is here. And then the z-score would clearly be 0. So these are my actual scores x. And the z-score for that would be 1.5. So what we're saying is if I wanted to work out the probability that a cookie chosen at random is less than 43 grams, that is in fact the area to the left of 43, which I have shaded there. So the probability of the cookie chosen is less than 43 grams is the same in the standardized normal distribution of being less than a z-score of 1.5. And we can work on question B now. So in question B, we're actually determining the probability that the cookie chosen at random is less than 43 grams. Now, step 1, always draw a picture. So always draw a picture of a normal distribution. Don't just draw a random picture of a silly person with a bow tie. Sorry, I digress, just having fun. Draw a normal distribution picture. So draw a picture, and on your picture, always mark the actual mean, which is 40, and mark what you're trying to work out and indicate it with a shaded area. So I've got here the x values, which are the weight of my cookies. 40 is in the middle, that's the mean in this case, and 43 is to the right of the mean, and we want to know what the probability is less than 43 grams. So we know that the answer is bigger than 50%. And then work out the z-score, showing the working like we did in part A. So the z-score for the mean is 0, we know that, so I can write that there always. And the z-score we're interested in is this 1.5 here. That 43 grams is 1.5 standard deviations away from the mean. So what we're essentially going to do is to find the probability that my cookie is less than 43 grams is identical to the probability in the standardized normal distribution of the z-score being less than 1.5. Now we can use the z-score tables. So I would always show this working here and then go to the z-score tables. Now here are the z-score tables. They're very small at the moment. I'll enlarge them in a minute. All of these on the left-hand side are for negative numbers. So all of these numbers are negative, you can see. So areas less than 0.5. And all on the right-hand side is above 50% probabilities. So I'm just going to make the right-hand side a bit larger so we can find out this less than 1.5. Now, z-score tables always work to 2 decimal places. Now, we want to find 1.50. I'm going to do 1.50 for you and also 1.51 to show you the difference. So, firstly, do the first decimal place in the left-hand column. So, find 1.5, which is there, 1.5. Next, find the second decimal place in the horizontal column here. So I'm looking here at these numbers, 0, 1, 2. So 1.50 would be this column, and match it up, and I get a probability of 93.32%. So you're matching the first decimal place with this number, 1.5, and the second decimal place with that number there. So for example, if I wanted 1.51, I would go 1.5 still in that row, but the column would be the 1 column here, and I'd go down there, and that would be 93.45%. So we have our answer, 93.32%. So there we have it in a nutshell. You see I've written my answer down here. I've written it as a percentage, 93.32%. You could have written it as a number between 0 and 1, so 0.9332 is fine. But I always like to write from tables. That's really good practice, and if you're doing AP, you have to write where you're getting your answers from. And then always remember to write your answer in context for a word problem. So there is a 93.32% chance that a cookie chosen at random has a mass smaller than 43 grams. Okay, your turn. Okay, it's time to pause the video now, and you're going to try this yourself. Basically, I will go through the question after you've tried it quickly. The only way to learn maths is to try it. We learn from our mistakes, so don't worry if you get it wrong. So I want you now to find the probability that a cookie chosen at random is less than 37 grams. Pause the video, try it, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so in this example, always draw a picture. So here's my normal distribution picture with a mean of 40, and I want to find less than 37, so it's going to be less than 50%. Always show the formula to work out the z-score, x minus mu over sigma. Remember, you're doing that to get the standardized z-score so we can use the tables. We get minus 1.5. Then write down that probability I want is my cookie less than 37, which is the same as the z-score area being less than minus 1.5. And then I got the answer from tables. I'll show that in a minute. I got 6.68%. And finally, write down a word sentence. There is a 6.68% chance that a cookie chosen at random has a mass less than 37 grams. Let me quickly show you how to read the z-score table. Now, remembering the areas to the left are always the areas on a z-score table. So we're looking for minus 1.5 is 0. So minus 1.5 is to 1 decimal place. Then the second decimal place there is the 0. I just erase it slightly. There it is. The 0. So it's 0.668. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. The probability that a cookie chosen at random is more than 37 grams. Now, the thing about this is we've just worked out the probability of it being less than 37 grams. We worked out this white area here on my picture to be 6.68%. Basically, the idea is to use the symmetry of the normal distribution curve and the fact that we know that all of the probabilities add up to 100%. So all we have to do is the probability of being more than 37 grams is the same as the z-score being more than minus 1.5, which I've shaded. We cannot use the z-score tables to find the shaded area because they always go to the left, but we can use the z-score tables to find the white area, which we know is 6.68%. So we know that it's 1, which is 100%, minus the probability of less than minus 1.5, which is this here is the white area, isn't it? So we're doing 100%, 1 minus 6.68%, so 1 minus 0.0668, and we get 93.32%. So we can find areas to the right by actually not finding areas to the right. We find areas to the left and subtract from 1. So Bob's your uncle, that's not too bad, is it? Okay, it's your turn again. Remember to pause the video now and try this question. Cookies are rejected if they weigh more than 45.5 grams. How many cookies would you expect to be rejected if you had 10,000 cookies? So we've got an extra additional bit. Remember, the only way is to do it yourself. Pause the video now. You learn from trying it, so pause it. Do it. Okay, so here we go. So always draw a picture. So we want to find out the probability of our cookie weighing more than 45.5 2.5 grams. Then once we've worked out the probability, we can times that by 10,000 to get the number of cookies. So we want to find the area here, bigger than 45.5 grams. So as normal, let's find the z-score, which is x minus mu over sigma. Always write down the formula, equals the x-score is 45.5 minus the mean of 40 divided by the standard deviation of 2, giving you a z-score of 2.75. So we know that we want to find the probability of z being bigger than 2.75. Now I'm going to do something slightly different. You could work out the area to the left, the white area, and find out the probability of less than 2.75 and subtract from 1, like I did in the previous example. But I'm going to show you a different way. Which way you use is completely up to you. It's your choice. Because the normal distribution is symmetrical, the probability of being bigger than 2.75 is identical to being the probability of smaller than minus 2.75. So if I use this technique, I don't need to subtract from 1 in this instance. If you don't like this, you can do the previous way and find the white area and subtract from 1. But because of symmetry, we can simplify a little bit. So I'm going to write down, I want to find the probability of bigger than 45.5 grams, which I'm going to do as using symmetry is the same as the z-score table being less than minus 2.75. And I get 0.3%. I'll show you that in the z-score table in a moment. So then you do 0.003, which is the probability, a very small probability. Multiply that by 10,000 cookies, and you get 30 cookies, and finish it off with a nice sentence. Okay, let's have a look at the z-score table for less than minus 2.7. So when we're looking at the probability of less than minus 2.75, remember we go from the first decimal place onto this column, so minus 2.7, and the second decimal place onto this column, minus 2.75, and there's your badger, 0.003, as I wrote down. Okay, and here's our final question of today for you. Find the probability that a cookie chosen at random is more than 37 grams, but less than 43 grams. Hint, remember we've already worked out the probability of less than 37 and less than 43, so use your earlier answers to help, and you don't need to redo those. You can use those two answers. Pause the video now, off you go, and work this one out. Okay, so let's see how you did on this problem. So we've already worked out the probability of our cookie being less than 37 grams, and we got 6.68% from earlier. You can look back if you need. We already worked out probability of x less than 43, which we can use tables for, is less than a z-score of 1.5 and 93.32% from z-score tables. So all we have to do to find the probability of being between 37 and 43 is take away the large area, 93.32%, and from 93.32% take away this little area here. Because if I take away the little area here, then I'll end up with the area between 37 and 43. So that's what I've done here. So the probability of being less than 1.5 was 93.32%. The probability of this white area we worked out as 6.68%. So we subtract the 6.68% from the 93.32%, and we get the probability that a cookie weighing between 37 and 43 grams is in fact 86.64%. And don't forget to write a nice sentence about that. That's all for it today, folks. A longer video, but lots of activities, and I hope that you worked along with them. And such an important distribution. Have a great day, everyone.